What is up, Starseeds? I'm Sid, and today I am going to be talking about divine intervention. So, I have two really personal stories, but before we get into that, I want to just kind of talk about divine intervention in general. I don't know what else to call it because it's this weird thing that has probably happened to everyone on at least a small level, okay? This probably happens to everybody every day without really realizing it. Just kind of getting those urges to do certain things in a certain order, to do things a certain way, the time scale in which we do things, kind of going in the flow with traffic, you know, going in the flow when you're walking through the kitchen and there's other people in the house. I don't know. That's not divine intervention. That's just kind of being in your own flow, using your intuition, gut feelings, gut instincts, whatever. Maybe people have had experiences in the car where something happens and it's kind of unexplainable, like a car glitches that was about to hit you and then magically it's like not going to hit you anymore and it's a bit down the road. That's happened to me a few times. I'm not going to talk about those experiences today because that's not really what I mean when I say divine intervention. That's happened to me a few times. I have almost hit deers. I don't know how many times. I've almost hit like 200-300 deer. I'm not even exaggerating. I've only hit one. Pretty good odds for almost hitting like 200 or 300. And when I say that to people, people are like, what? How have you almost hit that many? I'm like, you haven't? And they're like, no, I'm like 4 times your age and I have not seen that many deer on the road. I'm like, I have. When I was 16 and 17, I saw lots of freaking deer on the road. I don't know why, but that was like a sign. The universe was trying to tell me something by throwing all those deers in my way. In life, I was really more like the deer in the headlights. So when I was driving, those deer were presenting themselves in my headlights to me. Like, hey, get a grip. I don't know. And now I rarely see deers on the road anymore. Every once in a while. But the past 5 years, I've only seen like 4 deer on the road. Which might sound like average or maybe even a lot compared to most other people. But from going from seeing that number a week to, you know, only seeing that number in 5 years, it's a drastic decline for me. Anyways, I wanted to talk about these two experiences in my life where it wasn't just a car glitching on the road. It wasn't just my intuition saying, oh, you know, we should do this thing. These were the top 2 most, you know, possibly pivotal times in my life. I don't want to say I listened to one and I didn't listen to the other because there was options, right? Both of these divine intervention times, my higher self, I guess, my spirit guides, the universe, I don't know. I would like to just call it my higher self, like literally spoke to me. Not just how it does every day, but it literally spoke to me. It was like this very clairaudient feeling. It wasn't just claircognizant, like a psychic knowing. It was a clairaudient thing, which really doesn't happen to me very often, because when it does, it's very freaky. It freaked me out, you know? It really helped me when this happened though, and I have my clairaudience set to like off, okay? Tell me in a different way because the clairaudience kind of freaks me out unless it's really, really important. And these were like the 2 most important pivotal times in my life. These were life-changing events, top 2 life-changing events for sure. In the sense of my life trajectory. It wasn't just about my emotions or things like that. It was about my obvious physical life trajectory, okay? So the first time this happened, I was 17 years old. I had been hanging out with this guy. We had been living in my car for like 10, 12 days at this point, not even 2 weeks. And he had stolen some things. I ended up being the getaway driver without knowing. So I got wrapped into this. My intentions were not to get wrapped into that. It happened. And so we had gotten pulled over and they had taken him, you know, separated us so they could talk to us. And I got this like download, this voice in my head, myself telling me. It felt like my future self, kind of like a version of me who knew exactly what would happen if I picked either of these options. Okay, so I had the police talking to me, and I get this voice in my head that is me, but this all-knowing, like, future self, kind of higher self version of me. And I forget the exact words for this one. I remember the exact words for the latter. But for this experience, it was something like, either he can go to jail or you can both go to jail. It was something like that. It's either him or it's both of you. He can go to jail or you can go to jail with him. So I chose not going to jail. And that's basically what the police officers said to me too. They're like, we have the video evidence of him doing this. You're not doing it. So you can just say, yeah, I had nothing to do with it, and then you can go home. But if you want to sit here and try to lie him out of it, it's not going to work. Just shut your mouth, say you didn't have anything to do with it, and you can walk. You don't have to snitch, you don't have to do anything. Just don't be stupid and don't say that you were a part of it when you weren't. So that's what I did. I didn't sit there and not say anything, because then they were going to try to rope me into it, but they just wanted me to say I didn't have anything to do with that. So that's what I said. And I went home, and he went to jail. And I knew in that instance, because my higher self told me, like, I knew he wasn't getting out of it. He knew he wasn't getting out of it. It was just the option of if I wanted to be an idiot and go to jail too or not. And I didn't. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know? Anyways, let's talk about the second experience I had with my higher self telling me something, basically giving me an option. It wasn't as specific in like time as to like when this was going to happen. Now, looking back at it, I see it was very urgent. In the moment, I didn't realize how urgent it was, but now I feel kind of stupid for not realizing how urgent it was, because the only other time it had happened, it was immediately urgent. That time as well, it turns out it was immediately urgent, but I thought, you know, maybe it's talking about a week from now, a month from now. Didn't realize it was talking about that moment exactly. But anyways, it was right before I conceived my son. My higher self told me, if you stay, you will give this man a child. That is exactly what the voice told me. I'll never forget that. And I was like, wow, that's weird. Like I said, thought it was talking about within the next month or two or something like that. Didn't know it was talking about right then and there, but it was. So yeah, 2 life-changing moments. My higher self told me, you know, depending on what you do in this situation, you know, you're either going to go to jail with this dude, even though I know we wouldn't have been in the same area, we would have been separated because we're opposite genders, but you can either go to jail or you can live free. And then in this other instance, you can either stay with this dude and have his kid, or you can walk and not have his kid. Obviously, I didn't go to jail, but I did have a kid. 2 very life-changing moments right there. The 2 times I experienced divine intervention, okay? These are really personal stories, and I finally felt called to share them because I think it's an amazing story, okay? I'm wondering if you guys have ever had anything like this happen to you. Have you ever had like a car glitch when you were driving, at least, or something like that? Maybe not on this huge scale where you heard something extremely specific, but if you have, I really want to know, because like I said, that's only happened to me 2 times. Those 2 times I just talked about in this video, putting myself out there because I wanted to share the message, because those were really powerful experiences. I thought this would be a really cool, important video. So I hope you guys enjoyed and appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. If you are interested in being my neighbor in the future, stay connected with me. I don't want to say like comment, share, subscribe, but like feel free to do that, or at least just like send me an email or something like, hey, future neighbor, or just stay connected to me somehow so that when I buy a plot of land, if you're interested in being my neighbor and contributing to a self-sufficient community by making you know, something necessary for survival or for like the improvement of the survival. So we're not just surviving, but we're living and we're having fun and we're experiencing the things that we want to experience, the food, the clothing, the knickknacks, the whatever, woodworking, welding, something like that. I need engineers and farmers and people to make herbal remedies and soap and shampoo. That will come in handy. I've thought about what I'm going to do to contribute to this community. I mean, I want to be the one purchasing the land and helping with the planning of where I think it would be cool to have houses, where I think it would be cool to have the garden and the community centers, because I have this intuitive layout already really designed in my head. Yeah, I'm up for, you know, changing it around a bit. It's not super specific, but some things I feel like I know where certain things should go in this community. But once it's up and running, I would really like to help out in the garden. I'm sure some people are going to be just dedicated to the garden. I don't think I'm going to be one of those people that's in there all of the hours of the day. I feel like I'm going to be teaching kids some of the time, in the garden sometimes, and making things sometimes, and also like canning food. There's lots of things that I want to learn, so I would love to help out in a few different areas of the community. And that's super cool if other people want to do that too. If you don't just want a garden, but you want to help out in the garden sometimes, you want to make soap sometimes, you want to make clothes sometimes, whatever few things you know how to do, you can do those when you feel like it, you know? I feel like once this community is running well enough, you can do what you want when you want, you know, as long as you're doing something and helping to contribute. You can take a day off if you need, you can relax, you can go in our library of movies and books that I want to have. That's something I really want to contribute. I have tons of books and movies, and I want to continue to get more and grow my collection and have that be one of these community centers, like a community library. Have a kids section, have a section with board games and stuffed animals, and people can come and they can sit there and read a book. They can take it back to their house and bring it back when they're done. Whatever floats your boat, you know? So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. If you want like an intuitive astrological reading with me, email me if you're interested in my courses. I have Zoom courses going on right now. I think in the future I am going to have them so I can just email you like the pre-recorded version and you can take the course, watch the course that way. Also, I'm writing a book, and if it's out by the time you're watching this video, then I'm sure I'll have info in the description on how you can read it. It's probably not going to be out for another year though, but if you're interested, if you want to like get on my list of people who you want to buy the book as soon as it comes out, you can email me and I can start that list for you. That would be super cool. That would inspire me even more so to keep on writing it. But I'm super excited for that book. It's going to be kind of like my life so far, and just how my life has kind of propelled towards the spiritual areas, you know, what events have pushed me towards my spiritual journey and some of the things that I've learned so far. So yeah, peace out.